Hi Robert, welcome to Get Me Experts.
Thank you.
We're very happy to have you, as an expert in the performance management area.
Pleasure.
What is the difference, which you are suggesting than the traditional performance appraisal process?
Let's strip it back to something that's more natural. How do managers manage their employees normally? What do they do to employees? Well, they have monthly meetings, they have team meetings, they have one-to-one meetings. And what do they talk about in those one-to-one meetings? They typically focus on what are the things we must do in the next few weeks. And when managers talk to employees face-to-face, informally, it's a much more natural process of, hey guys, this is what we've got to do in the next few weeks. This is what we must achieve individually as a team. And so what some of the big blue chip companies are doing is they're saying, well, why don't we formalize that into a new approach for managing performance? And KPIs, annual measures, which really aren't working, are gradually dying away. And what they're being replaced by is MSCs. M, must do. What are the things an employee must do, must achieve in the immediate 4 weeks ahead? Tangible, short term, this is what you must do. S, should do. In addition to those must do's, what are the other things you should be doing to get ready for next month or the month after? And C, could do. If you've got time and if you really want to go the extra mile, what are the things you could do in addition to the must do and should do's? MSCs, must, should, could. And companies are saying, let's take the current approach that we've got anyway for managing employees, one-to-one manager meetings, team meetings, typically happening weekly or monthly, and let's make that a little bit more formal, monthly MSCs. And then at the end of the month, it's tick box. You either did do that must-do thing or you didn't. It's tick or cross. There's no 10-minute debate about did you achieve it, did you exceed it. It's a straightforward tick box, yes or no, 5 minutes, end of each month, over 12 months. The end of year appraisal is now the 12 months averaged out. Bye-bye to the 2-hour appraisal at the end of the year, replaced by monthly 5 or 10-minute discussions, MSCs.
But does it take care of the long-term strategy or the long-term, for example, there are certain projects which cannot be assessed in 3 months or 4 months, they take longer period to execute. So it will come in should part or it will remain in the...
Well, even if you've got a long-term project that takes maybe a year or even 2 years to execute, maybe you're building a skyscraper and your project is you've got to build a skyscraper in 2 years. Well, there's still things you've got to do this month and next month to move the milestones. So even though the end goal, the KPI, might be an annual or a 2-year thing, there's still things you've got to do month by month by month to move towards that end goal.
Okay.
My wife might say to me, Robert, you must lose 20 kilos. And I'm sure she's right. And that's my KPI for a whole year, lose 20 kilos. But there's things I've got to do, not just month by month, but probably day by day, if I'm going to achieve that goal.
So you have those milestones which you have to achieve, and they become your so-called, the must-do for that particular month.
Exactly. What must we do this month? When we've done those things, what should we do that gets us ready for next month and the month after? And if we've done those things as well and time permits, what's the extra mile we could go? What could we do to really set ourselves up for 3-4 months' time? MSCs.
So apart from, so what are the success factors, which can make MSC a workable solution? Is it the HR managers training, or is it the managers training, or it's the employee orientation? What needs to change?
The good news about MSCs is it's so intuitive that actually some of the companies that have rolled this out have done it with virtually no training. It's so obvious what a manager should be doing and what an employee should be doing that you don't need to run a 2 or 3 day training course on how to set KPIs and how to manage goals. It's maybe a 1-hour webinar. Managers could be anywhere in the world, logging in on the internet to see the presentation, listening it to a Travelport headset, a 1-hour webinar where HR give a high-level introduction and explain what MSCs are. and it's so intuitive. Away you go. Managers can then do it. And by and large, managers are saying, this is really taking the handcuffs off us. It's taking away all the bureaucracy of KPIs and goal setting, and it's giving us a way to manage naturally. And employees also find it really good. The risk is that it becomes micromanagement.
Yeah.
Too many things on the list. So that's the risk, that we go from undermanaged to being overmanaged. And so some companies who have thought about doing MSCs on a weekly basis, that's a bit too micromanagement.
Do you have any case study to share with us that, how you implemented this, in your organization when you were the HR officer, chief HR officer, or as a consultant,
I think IBM were one of the first companies who said, we're going to abandon our performance management scheme. And everybody said, what? Really? What are you doing? And we thought they were crazy. And then Microsoft did it, and then Google did it, and one by one, some of the big companies did it. And we were all sitting there thinking, well, what are you doing instead? Have you still got ratings? Yes, we need ratings because it's got to be linked to pay and performance. Well, how are you getting at the ratings? And no one actually crystallized it, but I worked with about 20 companies who were doing it just to research what they were doing and understand what they were doing. And gradually it became a trend. And I coined the phrase MSCs. Must-dos, should-dos, could-dos. I was watching those team meetings, I was watching the management one-on-ones, I was looking at how they were doing it, and it was just clear. It was an intuitive process, and I coined the phrase MSCs, and in under 9 months, about 50% of companies in America are either doing this now or are about to do it for the year 2018.
Oh, very good.
About 40% of companies in Asia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore are doing it or about to do it. It's slow in the Middle East. I'd say probably less than 2% of companies have embraced it so far.
Okay.
But if you and I meet 5 years from now, everyone will know what it is.
Okay. So have you seen the organization performance also changing because of the MSC implementation?
Those companies that have implemented MSCs obviously are doing it now, end of 2017, for the first time in their appraisal systems. They've seen a very tangible and very immediate improvement in employee motivation, employee happiness, employee engagement. They're starting to see a secondary knock-on to employee retention. And give it a year from now, the fact that employees are more motivated, the fact that they're more engaged, the fact that they're embracing this, the fact that they're more retained, it's going to convert through to the bottom line. It has to.
Yeah.
I think it was Richard Branson was once asked, how do you make your customers happy? And I was at the presentation that day when he did it, and he said, I don't. I make my employees happy, and they make my customers happy. How as a business am I going to improve my profits? I'm going to look after my employees. I'm going to value my key assets, because if they're happy, the business is going to do better. So are we seeing bottom line impacts from MSCs? Right now it's too early. We're 9 months in.
Yeah.
Give it a year?
Yeah.
Yes, we will. Are we seeing the high level impacts of retention, engagement, motivation? Very, very visibly, yes.
Okay. Any one-liner thought for the managers, HR managers who believe that performance appraisal is the Bible, which they have to follow?
I would simply say to people, just give it a go. Just try it. Try it within your own HR team for 3 months. See how it goes in your HR team. Because if it works for you in HR, just think of the big knock-on effects in operations, in sales. If you can re-energize your workforce, your sales force, if you can refocus your operations people, the bottom line results are going to be big.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about the next 2 years.
Okay, good. I think it was a very good conversation with you.
I've enjoyed it.
I personally, feel very enthused about this whole concept, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Okay.